Good morning, everyone, and I am Sandy Shellis, and welcome to Environmental Coffee House. It's good to see you guys. Let me bring up, let's bring up you so I can then see what's going on. Jean and Kate and Gary and Rich, Diana, and hi, Warren. Oh, Warren, stick around. You might want to see something I took a clip. And hello, Bella. All right, I got a good show. I'm also, always testing. Hey, Chuck, look at that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the stream. Hit the notification bell that you can be ahead with when Environmental Coffee House goes live. There you go. And hi, CB and K. Ryan. This is great. I have a good show, but I want to tell you, the first... you saw the scene. I don't know if you didn't see the scene in the opening vid. I never show the same video twice. Other channels show it's always, uniform and everything's the same. I don't understand if that is, some requisite on, a prerequisite to being a YouTuber. I guess I'm just not a regular YouTuber. Now there's a little, look at, I'm playing with that. You can go really close when I go up my nose, but we don't want to go that close. Okay, so it's great to see everybody here. I know people will be joining us, but so I started with that, and I'm going to show you why. And here we go. Click. Okay, I'm going to show you why. And that is because a woman drove her car. She just drove her car into Niagara Falls. Just drove it in. She didn't care. So, obviously she wanted to off herself that way, which I think is sad and tragic. So I had taken the pictures, the video, and I made it into a video. Niagara Falls is near and dear to my heart. I've been there a million times, to Canada, to New York, everywhere, every time. And it is this summer with Warren. And Warren was up here. So this is what happened. But I want to show you a little something from this summer. We were on the Maid of the Mist.
Oh my God.
That was fun. And Warren and I went on it, and I had a little bit of we went so far under the falls. I probably told this story already. We went so far under the falls from the American side that I had I don't know, Warren, let me find you. It was a panic attack. Because I had been on the Maid of the Mist, but I never, ever went that far. I never did. So, not that the show is about Niagara Falls, but what's behind me is Lake Erie. I love Lake Erie because I lived right across the street from the lake, maybe, oh, I don't know, for cumulatively about 24 years. Yeah. Yeah. So, that's why I just wanted to go over this the woman. We don't know why she would do that, but look at they actually with the helicopters had a rescue attempt. Because if you're going to kill yourself, you know what, bitch, don't do it this way where other people then get into harm's way. I feel terrible for her for whatever she was in her 60s and whatever she felt, but just doing this puts other people in jeopardy. Not cool. It's not freaking cool. So, but there was a lot of coverage on, on Twitter. We could play this one showing the helicopter. Let's see. Let's play this one. Unreal, huh? Unreal. Wow. Oh, Jacques used to live in the... Oh, cool. But look at what this guy had to go through to try to save her. She died anyway. She wanted to die. Unfortunately, she could have taken others with her. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but that's just not, it's just not, whoop, wait a minute. It's just not cool. I lost my everything. Okay, it's not cool. I don't think she thought this out very well, and it's sad. We don't know anything about her, and we probably won't. R.I.P. I'm sorry that happened. But here, look at that. That's a nice picture. You can really see this. Oh my God. Let's see do they have another video? And then I'm going to get into the show. I just thought that this would be, yeah. Woo! So have I sometimes. Holy shit. Niagara Falls is a force to be reckoned with.
This news, of course, comes just hours after yesterday's strong winds. Park police have been working on a plan to remove the vehicle.
Well, they had some snow. That must have gone away.
A woman in her 60s who was from the area intentionally drove the car into the water.
Okay, well, there you see. She did it. It was sad. That's very sad, I think. But life goes on, and there you go. There you go. So what I wanted to start the show with actually is this whole climate security and the Russian that they vetoed the UN resolution linking climate change. Okay, so what I want to do, and I'm going to click that out. I'm not going to start with that article though. I want to we'll see what climate security refers to. Okay, climate security, it refers to the security risks induced directly or indirectly by changes in climate patterns. It is a concept that summons the idea that climate-related change amplifies existing risks in society, that endangers the security of humans, ecosystems, economy, infrastructure, and societies. So climate-related security risks have far-reaching implications for the way the world manages peace and security. Climate actions to adapt and mitigate impacts can also have a negative effect on human security if mishandled. So that's Wikipedia, the gift to us all, right? All right. So I really want to get into this one a little bit. But I also have something interesting that I did. And, I hate these ads. Why do you get rid of them? Don't you hate the ads? I know everybody needs to make money, including me. All right. So Russia vetoes this UN extension. And I would like to understand first what Russia feels like. What's Russia? What does Russia feel? What does Vladimir Putin feel about climate change before I read that article? So I have something here for you that I'm going to do. I'm going to narrate this, And this is from a Russian, this is 2019, but it's a Russian Vesti News, Russian paper. Thing. And let's see if I can do what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to narrate this, guys, while you look at this. And I'm going to put some music on. So here we go. Hello. This is Vladimirovich. And the guy was Valery Sanfarov from Mayak Radio. All right. So here we go. And let's see what they have to ask. I wanted to ask you about one thing, but today I heard the weather forecast saying that it won't snow till the end of December, and I thought about against what backdrop you'll record your New Year's. But my question is about a Christmas tree. It's about climate change. Everyone talks about it, but nobody seems to know what to do about it. What do you think it'll result in? Well, what damage can climate change do to Russia? Okay. If I'm not mistaken, Russia joined the Paris Accord this year. Now, this was in 19. So the government adopted the appropriate whatever, I missed it. According to them, our country shall reduce harmful emissions into the atmosphere by 20 to 35% by 2030. But at VTB's Russia Calling Conference, which was held not long ago, you said by that time the reduction will be up to 60%. All right? And I wonder if you made a mistake for the first time or meant something special. You caught me. You overdid it. All right. Russia did join the Paris Accord. Actually, we stated that earlier, but this year it was set forth in a relevant government resolution. Connection lost. What the hell is that going on? Okay, this year it was set forth in, and the document really contains the figure 25 to 35%. I hope I didn't lose you guys. Something came up. Comparing to the accepted base period, which is the year 1990, actually, almost every country is doing this, including the EU. They consider the beginning of their work to be 1990. They use this date as the basis for calculations. Well, how can I wiggle out of this question, huh? If we consider it to be 100%, then reduce it by 30%. This will be just 70%. If we take our forest absorption capacity into account, it can even be 60%. That's what will remain. Let's say that's what I meant. That's my first point. Secondly, Russia isn't among the countries producing the biggest amount of emissions. They are different estimates by different organizations. There are. But according to the UN, the US and China are the biggest producers of emissions. 16% of all of the emissions account for each of them. The EU, 11% of emissions. They're followed by Russia, 6%, and India, 5%. I would have to I didn't get the official. As you know, in the Paris Accord, there's a goal set for the prevention of an increase in temperature by 1.5%. I don't know if together we'll be able to do it or not, because nobody knows the true reasons for climate change, at least global climate change. Just wait. It gets better. After all, we know such periods in the Earth's history when there were drops and rises in temperature. It could be caused by some global processes in the universe. It can be small Earth axis inclination or the orbit of its rotation around the sun changed, which can lead to, or has already led, historically speaking, to serious climate changes on the Earth. Those were colossal changes that led to dramatic consequences. Whether they were good or bad, they were dramatic. Now, to determine exactly how mankind impacts global climate change today, right? Hang on a second. Once again. Okay, so he agrees with his colleagues on that. I missed that, but you guys read it. Therefore, we should at least make every possible effort to prevent dramatic climate change. As far as our country is concerned, this process is very serious for us. Okay. The temperature increase rates in Russia are 2.5 times higher than the average ones on the planet. As you know, we're a northern country. 70% of our territory is in the northern latitudes. We have entire cities inside the Arctic Circle built on permafrost soil. If it begins to thaw, you can imagine the possible consequences. They'll be very serious. In some places, it can get warmer. In Moscow, for instance, which is seeing record temperatures now. But this could result in the desertification of some areas, and not ice cream. And this directly affects us. Climate change can also be spotted in the increasing number of natural disasters, such as fires, floods, and so on. This also directly affects us. Therefore, we did that, are doing that, and will do that. I mean, we'll make every effort to mitigate the consequences of those changes. Okay, you think? Well, there we go. That was good old Vladimir Putin. So now we're going to go over to this article here. And Vladimir, he sounds a little bit like, he does sound a little bit like a denier. You know, like he's saying we don't know where some of that comes from. He's saying this was only in 2019. So I don't know. Hey, Rick Larson, how you doing? Record high temperatures, he says, there today. God damn, so are we. In fact, what are our temperatures? Let me see what my temperature is here. December. Oh, it's 40 degrees and raining. It's going to be 48, which is definitely unseasonable. So it's not cool. That's might be why it said I lost my connection for a minute. All right, so let's go on to this one. I'm not going to opinionate, but what I want to do with Vlad's numbers, the emissions numbers, is really take a look at them. Yeah. Yes. Lightning rod. Putin has also built a fleet of nuclear reactors. Just trust me, Putin knows what climate change is happening. Okay, so let's read this article. This was from the AP. I went through 100 articles and I decided this was the easiest one. And let's turn off the music. Let's let it go away. Okay, it was nice having that music. I enjoy music, but so raised on Monday, vetoed. What the hell happened here? God, I touched nothing. All right, so Russia on Monday vetoed a first-of-its-kind UN Security Climate Resolution casting climate change as a threat to international peace and security. A vote that's saying, oh my God, why is this happening? What the frig is going on with my internet? It's been wonky all morning. Okay, and I got up really early, so Spearheaded by Ireland and Niger, the proposal called for incorporating information on the security implications of climate change into the Council's strategies for managing conflicts and into peacekeeping operations and political missions, at least sometimes. The measure also asked the UN Secretary General to make climate-related security risks a central component of conflict prevention efforts and to report on how to address those serious, risks and serious hotspots. It's long overdue that the UN's foremost security-related body take up the issue, Irish Ambassador Geraldine Byrne-Nason said. The Council has occasionally discussed the security implications of climate change since 2007. And the wider General Assembly pronounced itself deeply concerned about the issue in 2009. Secretary General Antonio Guterres has also sounded the alarms. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. So the council had passed resolutions that mentioned destabilizing effects of warming in specific places, such as various African countries and Iraq. But Monday's resolution would have been the first devoted to climate-related security danger and issue as an issue of its own. Stronger storms, rising seas, more frequent floods and droughts, effect of warming could inflame social tensions and conflict, potentially, right? A key risk to global peace, security, and stability. You think? The proposed resolution said, so some 113 of the UN's 193 member countries supported it, including 12 of the Council's 13 members. Okay? But India and veto-wielding Russia voted no, while China abstained. Well, I'd say that gets the good old, it's very early, but that gets the good old toilet flush of the day, but we can't hear it. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Toilet flush of the day. All right. Their envoys said the issue should remain with broader UN groups, such as the Framework Convention on Climate Change. Adding climate change to the Security Council's purview would only deepen global divisions that were pointed up by last month's climate talks in Glasgow, Scotland. The opponent said the talks ended in a deal that recommitted to a key target for limiting warming and broke some new ground, but it fell short of the UN's three big goals for the conference. Russian Ambassador Vasily Nebenzia complained that Monday's proposed resolution would turn a scientific and economic issue into a politicized question, divert the Council's attention from what he called genuine sources of conflict in various places, and give the Council a pretext to intervene in virtually any country on the planet. This approach would be a ticking time bomb. Now, I don't know if I agree with that at all, because a ticking time, climate change should be the biggest. Okay, it should be the biggest issue. India and China questioned the idea of tying to conflict to climate, and they predicted trouble for the Glasgow commitments if the Security Council, a body that can weighing in more. What the Security Council needs to do is not a political show, Chinese Ambassador Zhang Jun said. The measure's supporters said it represented a modest and reasonable step to take on the issue of existential importance. Today was an opportunity for the Council to recognize for the first time the reality of the world we are living in, and that climate change is increasing insecurity and instability, Byrne-Nason said. Instead, we have missed the opportunity for action, and we look away from realities of the world we're living in. So proponents vowed to keep the Council's eye on climate risks. The force of the veto can block approval of a text, said Niger's Ambassador Abdu Abari, but it cannot hide. It cannot hide reality. No, can't hide reality. So it's pretty interesting that, well, we all know. I mean, Jennifer and I do the show on what happens in the permafrost, what happens in the Arctic. Many people are producing graphs and taking the numbers of different GHGs that are in the air that are melting, you know. So I'm not going to go on this one anymore, and that's the one I already did. So I'm going to move on to Arctic Today, and basically this one. Okay, let's look at this one. And thank you, everybody, for joining me in this conversation, because we'll be doing the chat after. And if you have anything, put a big Q. Of course, I am not an expert on world affairs at all. I'm just bringing to you, so for food for thought. I'm a social scientist, really. By training, you could call me a social scientist, really. But my life is one big science experiment. At least my body is. I haven't been feeling great, but I am getting better every day. Okay, so first, we're going to go through this article. And ships complete the historical passage on the Northern Sea route. So this is Arctic Today, and never before, they say they haven't seen. This is the time of year have so many vessels been rescued out of the ice, says Russia's nuclear icebreaker operator Rosatom. So there's a picture. Maybe they think it's melted faster. Maybe it's propaganda. I try to vet my sources. So it's been an Arctic odyssey for ships and crews that in November got stuck in sea ice on the remote Northern Sea route. To me, that feels good. To me, having ice there definitely should have it. Yay, there's some ice. Yay. And they got stuck. Okay. So on December 7th, let's see. After a month of icy captivity and a subsequent icebreaker rescue, a convoy of 9 vessels this week made it to safety in the Kara Sea. On December 7th, the Russian nuclear icebreaker completed the escort of ships that started in the far eastern Arctic, almost 6,000 kilometers away. It has been a historical passage. He praises the captain of the Vegash, Mikhail Goncharenko, who successfully managed to bring many ships into safe haven. It was his first voyage after his appointment, as he truly demonstrated that he is a worthy descendant of our school of Arctic captains. Among the 8 vessels that were escorted by the Vegash is Kumpula, the Finnish bulk carrier. The ship entered the Bering Strait in early November and was due to reach the Danish port of Skagen on November 22nd. After icebreaker escort into the East Siberian Sea, the 197-meter-long carrier was isolated for more than a week north of the Siberian islands, waiting for further ice-breaking assistance. On December 7th, the ship sailed independently into the ice-free Barents Sea. The ice-class Ark 4 Kumpula has Helsinki as its home port. Now, it is expected to arrive in the Norwegian port of Narvik on December 11th. Updated information from marine traffic shows. Ship owner ESL Shipping has not responded to requests from comments from the Barents Observer. Our friends, yay, Thomas Nelson. Among the other 7 vessels that were part of the historical convoy was the Salenga, which is now moored in the Sever Bay in Tamir, which delivers construction goods to, get this one, Rosneft's major Vostok oil project. It's never going to stop. The remaining vessels, the oil tanker Vladimir Rusanov, cargo ships Severny Project, and mechanic Pushneshev Let's see how we do that. Pushta shna. Grigory Shilkov. You know, I should really bone up on this Russian because I like it. I have history from Russia. The troublesome early winter conditions on the Northern Sea route took everyone by surprise, but it's a lesson also for the state nuclear power company Rosatom. The leader of the company's Northern Sea Route Directorate, Vyacheslav Rukshka, has already made it clear that Russia must increase the number of LK-60 icebreakers to 7 in order to successfully implement shipping, the round year shipping on the northern route. So that's what it looks like. And I don't know, guys, are you interested? I mean, you're talking about Starbucks. Okay. All right. Here we go. Construction goods to oil corporation projects on the permafrost. Seriously. I know Vladimir Putin really gives a shit. He gives a shit as much as any of them. Really, seriously. So then I found this was a really interesting article to go on, how climate change will impact national security. So it really piggies back to the front and center of what I was talking about, because it's a very interesting topic that, we don't cover this a lot. And national security, from whose nation, from what nation? This is the Harvard Gazette. So rising temperatures and intensifying weather due to climate change, along with the unlikelihood of meeting the 2030 emissions goals of the Paris Agreement, it's going to, you can't see because I'm in the way. Okay, I got to move myself here. Okay, now the National Intelligence Estimate lays out the likely security implications over the next 2 decades of the mounting climate crisis. Calder Walton is Assistant Director for Research at the Belfer Center's Intelligence Project, which organized the Harvard Kennedy School's first conference on climate change and national security last spring. He spoke to the Gazette about the report and the important role the intelligence community should play in addressing the crisis. Interview is edited for clarity and length. Let me see how long it goes, because I don't know. Oh, it's not that long. We can go through this one pretty quick. And we'll see what this guy says. What he says, all right, there's threat, blah, blah, blah. The purpose of the U.S. intelligence community, established after the second intelligence community. Okay. Established after the Second World War in the wake of Pearl Harbor, was to provide policymakers with decision advantage and forewarning of threats to national security. If the primary purpose is to give, decision advantages about national security threats, obviously, by definition, the U.S. intelligence community has a role giving key decision makers their assessments about the greatest existential threat in human civilization. Well, there you go. He said it right there. The greatest existential threat in human civilization. My show's over. Goodbye. Go home. All right. So what's going to be the impact of that changing climate on national security, economic society, civil society? And it's not just national security. This is international globalized security. If we look at it like that, clearly the U.S. intelligence community has a role. They have a role. And I think it's pretty cool that I never did this. All right, that they have a role. And they're very late. Very, very late to the game. Now, I think everybody's late to the game, don't you? Don't you think everybody's a bit late to the game? I'd say so. To the climate game. How are other intelligence services responding to climate change? Is any country leading the way? Well, I don't think anyone is a shining star in terms of taking this seriously. I have yet to find an example of a country that has an intelligence bureaucracy set up to really deal with this and to provide assessments about the national security implications of climate change to policy leaders in a sufficient way. The overwhelming focus of intelligence communities across the globe is still on post Cold War structures, stealing other people's secrets. And we are now in an age of globalized challenges. The primary one being climate change, but also the biorevolution and biosecurity, cyber and disinformation. Yep, I have to say, ding. That is what it is. Disinformation. Oh, okay. Disinformation. Nobody has the right information on anything, right? We are really at an inflection point in terms of the way we understand intelligence and national security. U.S. national security and intelligence were built up to deal with blocks of states. First, the fascist states, which we're not far from, and then Soviet communism. 9/11 was the first wake-up call about the non-state actors. But the U.S. intelligence community still used the same framework of established bureaucracies built up in post-war years to deal with non-state actors. And now, with a pandemic and climate change, we are seeing truly globalized options. No challenges. Oh, it's early. It seems to me that we need to rethink how we understand intelligence. Boy, is that open. How do we understand intelligence? Oh, I might have a graphic for that one. I don't know if I put it up. But anyway, it seems to me that we need to rethink how we understand intelligence. Look at that. One of his quotes is scarce resources leading to political violence, terrorism. That's the kind of secondary threat progression that the U.S. intelligence community will be looking at. So guys, I had a thought. So what if some of that bloated, horrible, ridiculous military budget the United States has is going to go to climate change research, climate change security? Maybe. And what is security? What he says. That's a threat. So, okay. So we'll start with the basics. He says, then the climate change does pose a threat to U.S. So this is U.S. centric. The National Intelligence Estimate is a joint assessment produced by the entire U.S. intelligence community, 18 agencies. Holy shit. That's significant. There are no naysayers. There's no doubt. So that is a breakthrough. In this extraordinarily polarized and politicized environment, that's a big milestone in itself. There is a series of direct and indirect security threats that the report lays out. First and foremost, it says it is likely that the temperature will rise by 1.5 degrees by 2030, which is the Paris Agreement target. So we are unlikely to stop that from happening. And then the report reveals direct and indirect consequences of climate change, raising temperature, and the inability of, as they see it, our decarbonization efforts to prevent the temperature rise in the U.S. Direct consequences relate to territorial integrity. The U.S. military has been talking about rising sea levels on bases since the 1970s, if not earlier. Rising sea level, which is affecting how we're undertaking military operations. And then the secondary knock-on effects of population displacement, of civil disorder as key essentials become scarce, damage to crops, and economic realignment. Also, refugee crisis or population displacement and radicalization of people angry with their own government or willing to take action against countries that they regard as big polluters. Scarce resources leading to political violence, terrorism. That's the kind of secondary threat progression the U.S. Intelligence Committee will be looking at. China accounts for 30% of the world's carbon emissions. Now, we're going to have to go back. I'm going to go back and look at the numbers for this because I want to make sure that we have the absolute right numbers of the GHG measurements for each country. All right. So he says, all right, does it change their approach, China? Does China change? It is. What we're witnessing is the combination of these global challenges to international security, biosecurity, natural and synthesized biology, and pandemics and climate change, disinformation. That's a big one for me. Being fused with great power, geopolitical conflicts. There's this idea that we can either deal with the international security threats of climate change or China. But in reality, they're not mutually exclusive. They're all interwoven. Climate change is now fused with geopolitics. So how is the U.S. intelligence community thinking about China and all these issues? This is an area firmly within the traditional wheelhouse of what the U.S. intelligence community can do. The absolutely important information will be the verification and attribution, whether China is adhering to its public statements about its carbon reduction. Is it being truthful or is it not being truthful? Now, this was written, I think this was from November. So I know that there have been things going on in our government with our president speaking to China, speaking to Putin. You know, what are we doing? Flexing the proverbial muscles. All right. So let's see. Let's go down a little bit. All right. So that's where intelligence collection, human intelligence, signals intelligence, imagery intelligence from satellites, overhead reconnaissance, and open source intelligence is going to be absolutely key. Senior policymakers in Washington will say, well, I need to know whether China is adhering to what they profess to be doing in terms of decarbonization. So that will be a requirement set to the U.S. Intelligence Committee, right? To steal those secrets. That is not different from what we've done in the past. And it will be increasingly important. So we're going to steal secrets. It says so right here. That's what the intelligence people do. They're intelligent enough to steal secrets. There is a significant role the U.S. intelligence community could play, and really, in my mind, we must play going forward. It's disseminating its assessments, particularly from overhead satellite mapping, what the U.S. intelligence community is observing both on the territorial integrity of countries and population displacement. During the Ebola crisis, the U.S. National Guard National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, through its satellite platforms, collected and then publicly disseminated via its website information about the spread of Ebola in West Africa. That is exactly the direction we need to go in with climate change. So what comes after this report? Is there a next step? Well, Walton says the next step is for the U.S. intelligence community to say, this is what we can deliver. We know what we need. We know what policymakers need to know. We know what the public needs to know. And this is how we can contribute to assessments and messaging and help shape public policy. The worst thing they could do would be to set up a new bureaucracy within a particular agency and say, we're now doing climate change. It's time for some bold thinking. This is a profound existential crisis for the way we live our lives, and it's time for profound thinking about intelligence to inform decision making. Instead of the traditional focus of intelligence agencies to retain information because it is classified, it seems to me that when it comes to climate change, the emphasis should be about publicly disseminating that intelligence. In other words, a reversal of tradition. It's incumbent for assessments to be as widely read as possible so that we understand this, so that members of the public can hold policymakers' feet to the coals about making changes. There's no good in finding out in 50 years' time. They were being briefed on this. The stakes are too high. I think that was That was interesting. What are you doing in the chat? Anything? Any questions? Anything you want to go over that I have thus far done? Anything? All right. Well, then I'm going to go on. I wanted to look at let me see, the Barron's Observer, because there was an article in the Barron's Observer, and this one, and let's get me back. This one, I like this because you get a lot of good news from the Barron's Observer, and we can turn me off because we don't need it. All right, so here we go. On patrol along its Arctic coast, Norway's relation with Russia is challenged between deterrence and reassurance. So what they're talking about is what, I'm not going to go into reading this whole thing, but this is what Norway and other countries see. They see that the Russian Northern Fleet has escalated its exercises off the coast of northern Norway. And they're talking about weapons technologies like the new long-range precision cruise missiles, just what we all need, right? All of it. I just want to show you the pictures. I thought the pictures were really nice. Let me make myself little. So there's the picture, and there is let's get it here. This is, and I can't see. Oh, Thomas Nilsson actually took this picture. Boy, that thing's ugly, isn't it? So they're sending, Norway sending a message by their presence. So it's flexing your muscles, you know. Norway's Navy is not big, but few countries have crews better drilled on Arctic navigation. So that's what they do. There's one guy. See how travel around. Wow, that water does look blue. I wonder what's underneath there. Don't you? Don't you wonder? Yes. Oh, okay. So before I go on, let's see. I have to, there was a comment that I would like to highlight for later. Dan, oh, where are you, Dan? All right. When we do question and answers, we'll do that. Let me finish here. So this is, what they look like. They can, engage hostile forces from close distance anywhere along the coast. And remember, Norway has a lot of drilling. They don't want anybody to mess with their drilling. Do you think? I don't think so. All right. So NATO steps up. Russia's President Vladimir Putin and his commanders, like Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces Valery Gerasimov and Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, have increasingly stressed the importance of strategic nuclear forces. I want to emphasize that despite the constantly changing nature of military threats, the nuclear triad remains the primary key guarantee of Russia's military security, Putin said in a November meeting. With well-known rhetorics aimed at his domestic audience, Putin continued, NATO is expanding its military presence in Europe close to the Russian border. Wait a minute. Ukraine. Bridge over troubled waters. I want you to read this, guys, because I'm not going to go into the thing. Okay, Norway, this was good. Norway can't keep a relationship with only the United States, but is forced to seek good relations with Russia as well. All right. It's because of their unique geopolitical position that from some of Russia's most valuable nuclear forces. I guess that's pretty scary. Propaganda or real concerns. It's hard to know what propaganda is and what is a real Russian security concern. So I'm going to move on from this because it's a longie, and I want you guys to read that one on your own. I'm going to go out to Twitter where somebody I follow, Leo Hickman, major warning signs about rapid climate change are flashing away today at both of the planet's poles. But no doubt they will fast be swallowed up and ignored. Okay, 38 sea logged in Siberia last year was confirmed as a record temperature for the Arctic. And I have, some news for you. What I was reading and researching is that Russia can't wait for the melt because they're going to graze livestock and they think they're going to make farming, they're not taking into consideration all of the other factors. So this was what he was saying. And, it'll be ignored. It definitely will be ignored, but not by me, right? Not by me. I had something else, and I don't know where to find it, but I would like to find the video I had, but I can't find it. Well, let's go for questions. I thought that covering this kind of information was important. It gives you a little idea of what's going on in the Arctic from a climate change security aspect, that they're all building up their militaries. Nobody wants to give up their piece of the pie. None of the oil companies are going to stop drilling. I doubt it. Norway makes a lot of money from drilling. It's their country. And that's what Thomas told me from the Barents Observer. In fact, the Barents Observer, if I can actually pull that up and show you. Wait a minute. You know what I missed? Wait, I'm going back. I want to go back. Nope, I got to go ahead. I wanted to show you one thing. There was a graphic. Here's the graphic. I don't know if I can make it bigger and show it to you so you can see it. It just shows all around where the security, Russian bastion defense in relation to Norway, where they are. So you see that? Okay. I just had wanted to go back to that, but I kind of mucked that up. The Barents Observer, though, is really, you want to learn about what's going on in that area. Look at it. The Barents Observer has everything. Go all the way up. Moscow national security chiefs fight Western windmills. So they're having issues with windmills. Arctic report card 2021. Sea ice changes, rain on Greenland. Really good stuff. This year's last transit shipment on the northern route is underway. What does the Arctic fox eat? I mean, they cover everything. So if you want to learn, and we interviewed Thomas Nilsson. He was with us, and he's great. My new attempt to change minds about the climate crisis. Now that's an opinion, but that would be probably an awesome read for us, I think. Winds of Change. Oh, here's an interesting one. This is for me and Jennifer to cover because we covered this whole Arctic spill. So I'm going to save this one. I'll definitely save that one, and I am coming back. All right. So it's been an interesting day, and let's see. Let me go back and see if I have any comments that could come up. Warren says he believes the nuclear winter is the default fix for warming after sufficient numbers are culled in the bottleneck. I can't believe this won't come into play after disaster is in full swing. Well, yeah, that's pretty scary right there. I think so. All right, I know. Let's see, here we go. Anthony, seamelt is only part of it. Plastic all over the coastlines of the countries that do not have the ability to remove it. And the sea, it's a waste. It's a waste dump. Waste dump. We are so fucked. All right, I know it was Dan Marceau, and I really want to find it. So if you give me that patience to find Dan's question, I can't find it. You know what, Dan? Unless you guys put a QQQ, well, look at Gene says sounds like Russia and the U.S. talk about climate crisis in the same ways. Like what? It doesn't exist. Or they don't want it to. Nobody wants it to exist. All right, wait. Dan, it seems like, oh, Dan, I'm so sorry. Put a Q, guys. Put a Q. And then I want to show you something before we go. Um, I wish I could show, you know what? I could show the comments as they come, but I just don't. I haven't set up that widget yet. So, all right, let's see. Anthony, I don't think you could live in Dallas without air conditioning. Up there where Sandy lives is a lot cooler, and Hambone likes it there. He left the Austin area because it was in a floodplain. Everywhere's a problem. And yeah, we don't need much air conditioning here, but it got hot. It got really hot, and it rained a lot. Um, all right. I Intelligence, Andy. Intelligence has another meaning in the normie world other than intelligence. Yeah, I will definitely give you a little applause for that one. Intelligence. Let's hear it for intelligence. Yay. All right. Well, I can't find what I wanted to. Oh, Dick. Dick says we're living with a terminal diagnosis. This thing is going to kill us. How do we want to be in our last days? Well, I'm doing what I want to do. What else am I have to do? Take care of 6 cats, take care of a homestead. You got to do, little actions locally, those kinds of things. All right. Naz had a video. Naz, you'll have to write me where the video is, as if it's just on your channel. All right. Well, let's hear here's Heidi. Why did Harvard wait that long to hold such a conference? It's because they're holding the status quo, along with the reason for the Harvard Living Wage campaign, paying their custodial, culinary, and security guards after 9/11, $6.95 an hour. I was blessed to have been a citizens liaison, not a student for the Harvard Living Wage campaign, and I saw behind their Ivy League values. Right on. She's an activist. Heidi is, a big activist. I love Heidi. Thank you, Heidi. All right, guys. I don't see, let's see. Oh, yeah. Rich Diana. Their estimate is that there's 45 trillion of resources in the Arctic waiting for exploitation. The Russians aren't. And I completely 100% agree with that. I totally agree with that. All right. Anyway, after, all right. Well, all right, guys. I'm going to move on because I have a short, and you guys are chatting away, and I cannot find. Hi, Climate Marcher John. Here. Jean says, yeah, Sandy, capitalism is a powerful addictive disease that many people ignore or just try to ignore. Oh, I hear it. I hear you. Yeah. All right. Listen, because it's going so fast, I can't keep up with it. So I'm just going to show you this is a little housekeeping. I wanted to show you what the dashboard looks like, or what this Buy Me a Coffee looks like. Now it's a little different than, it's different. Let's see. It's different than Patreon. And it shows how many people are following, supporting, and members, right? It's really cute. I mean, this is what the front looks like. It is our fundraiser. But now they don't want to go directly to PayPal anymore, which stinks. I just need a little help, but I made it. It's cute. And what I do, and when I say thank you all the time to anybody that donates. It's so important. But what I do is I'll post the show and I just email it out to the members. So here's today. We don't do much yet, but I'm finally getting some people on there that are liking it. So maybe I will do more with this little Buy Me a Coffee. I wanted to go back to, where is it? I don't need that. I wanted to go back and show you. Okay, so I do the post. It's really cute. I like it. 16 members. I'm going to be honest with you. this is what I get $80 a month. And I thank you all out there. I want permission to to do names, but I don't want to embarrass anybody. So this is what I get to run the channel. And it's not a lot, but it's okay because I'm grateful for anything. But I'm being honest with you. I 100% honest with you. It really helps. I just had to pay the 1-year fee for the story blocks, which I use to create videos for this channel. You enjoy them, right? You enjoy them. So there's my thing for today. Just showing you the buy me a coffee. It is cute. It really helps with this channel. There are so many intricacies for me to make these videos and find things. And if you love me, help me. There we go. Just for the day. Anyway, what else are you guys talking about? Thank you, Heidi. Blessings to everyone for a happy and healthy holiday season. Whatever your faith, and buy Sandy a coffee. Keep the show going. I'm telling you. Oh my God. What happened with that 1-year subscription? I thought it was a monthly from the story blocks. I mean, there's Restream story blocks, Ecamm, Epidemic Sound. That's just 4 of them. Epidemic Sound. And then there's my internet, a lot to do the show, getting everybody on, doing everything right. I work my ass off here. That's all. And there you go. All right. Well, thank you, Jean. I try. I didn't want to do a whole thing too long of whining and begging for money because I'm not good at it or help. I'm not good at it. But it is the holiday season, so I understand people have families and all, so don't worry about it. I just wanted to show you. It's really cute. But I also put my PayPal. I had to because of the fact that now it's the Buy Me a Coffee. I guess they went the way of I'm going to get a 1099. I might as well get a job at Dollar General. I swear to God, they'll pay me $12.50 an hour to stand there and cash people out and hurt. Better than the antique store. Okay, wine and rant is over. Thank you for coming. Oh, I have one more thing I wanted to show you in the beginning. I might as well save it for now. This is what was going on in Buffalo the other day when the tornadoes were happening and absolutely destroying. This was what... This is along the shoreline in Hamburg, New York, where I used to drive past this every day. I used to drive past that every day for 20 years, every single day, in all inclement weather. And back when I worked there, the weather, oh my gosh, it was way worse. I mean, it was... The snow was insane. I mean, this is pretty normal. It's pretty normal, but it looks like the North. It looks like the North Sea. Oh, Raza wants me to buy me a coffee plantation. Well, yeah, I drink enough of it, but of course it's low acid and has to be healthy. See, it is beautiful, but it was windy, and that's what happened. There were a lot of trees down. My daughter lost her internet. They lost their power. She was dog sitting, and they lost their power. And I have another story about my daughter, but I have to ask her if I can talk about it first. But isn't that something? That was something. All right, guys. Well, I thought I would just show you Lake Erie when the wind blows, and it does go right across the road. I mean, like I said, I drove that road for 20 years. 20 years. And I did forget I had another I had another video. Do I show it? I'm already at 1 hour 3. I had a 5-minute video on the UN Security Council. All right, let's take a vote. Rick, you were out there? Oh, I bet. We had a boat. We went through some hellacious waves out there in my younger days. I really wanted to show this. How many people we got? 49? Maybe I will show it. Let me see if it's in here. Why not close up with this?
Well, from the perspective of a country that sits on the United Nations Security Council as a non-permanent member, there's a need for an urgent, I think, resolution to be passed sooner rather than later on this issue.
I think it would make a difference at two levels. So one would be the high politics, this symbolism of the Security Council, which brings together the most powerful countries on this planet, acknowledging the fears of the most vulnerable countries who have been asking for this type of resolution. The second element would be to give more direction at a practical level to the different UN agencies, to the different UN operations, in order to have them integrate much better their peace-building work with climate adaptation work. There's by now, I think, 3 groups who are really pushing this. So there's the group of the small island developing states who have been asking for a resolution, Security Council resolution on the issue of climate and security for a long time, because they're existentially threatened. But and then there's the group of Western countries who've been supportive of this call, and that's really important. That's also, I think, what's changing is there's been a big push also from other affected countries, particularly in Africa and in the Middle East, and also in South and Southeast Asia, who can sort of see the effects on the ground, and of course who provide a lot of credibility. There's 2 big demands coming from a number of UN member states and council members. One is in terms of having political representation for this issue of climate and security in the form, for example, of a special representative. And the other one is having some form of regular reporting mechanism that ensures that the UN shows its awareness of the interlinkages of these risks, and also has a basis for conducting the sort of systematic risk management that the UN Security Council has been asking for in various country resolutions.
It's great to have these calls at this high level, at the conceptual level, but ultimately on the ground we need adequate risk assessment. We need locally informed analysis for locally informed action. We need to have solutions to these risks that are informed by the people that are most affected by them. These are intersectional issues and problems and challenges, and we need to involve all parts of society, not just at the national government level, not even just at the local governance level, but also ensuring active participation by civil society and local climate scientists and local conflict experts, to ensure that we get the most nuanced understanding of the risks at play to get the solutions right.
All right, thank you. I thought that was a good way to end, give you a little information. So I hope you're all happy. I went over, so. Oh, you want some pixie dust, Warren? Okay, wait, Warren. Warren is going to end, and he wants the pixie dust, which to me is the magical thinking of everyone. There we go. We got the magical thinking. You can all go away and think everything's going to be all right. It's great to see you. Thank you. And I'll put my little thank you in there. And we're off.